A little disclaimer up front. This is basically just a rambling rant. And unfortunately, there's going to be a big backstory in front of it. So, this is going to be me rambling around in circles for 15 minutes to get to my point, which is not for everybody. So, there's a good chance you're on the wrong bus. Uh, but check back later when I have a real video. So, the rant is kind of conspiracy theory, kind of not. We own nothing and we like it. That may sound familiar. It was a few years ago, some foreign dude, snooty European guy on the World Economic Council or something or whatever. Some rich dude that made a hell of a lot of money but is against capitalism because, hey, he's got his, he doesn't give a shit about anyone else. And we're all in this together, blah, blah, blah. Little tinfoil hat. But he was quoted saying, "We will own nothing and like it." And people like me who like individualism and working together as a community as we want and, liberty, that kind of weird stuff, that didn't sit very well. But it's true, and we're there already. With all kinds of avenues, I was going to go off on a different subject, but where I'm coming from is with what I'm using right now to record this, which is my smartphone. I got an Apple iPhone. I'm not a young man. I'm 51 years old. I made it well into my 20s before I even had a cell phone, a mobile phone. And mid-20s before I had my first smartphone, right? What was it? It was a BlackBerry. I think it was called a Pearl. And overall, I liked it. It did everything I needed to do, which was not much. Also at that time, I got into Apple with their little iPod music player, which I thought was fantastic. I love music. Little tiny device that slips in my pocket, holds thousands of songs. It was great. Then out of convenience, I'm like, when that was back in the day when, cell phone providers would give you a phone every couple of years. That BlackBerry thing was showing its teeth. So I thought, out of convenience and streamlining things, let's just get an iPhone. Ditched a little music player. All that functionality in one device, one thing to charge, one set of cables, so on and so forth. And then for the last, close to 25 years, it's been iPhones. And I like them. It works. Nothing against Android or any other option. It's just, you just stick to what works. I'm really not a fanboy of anything. Last year or year before, I picked up my first Android device. Kind of a ruggedized, bulletproof, unlocked phone. And the purpose of that was more for portable radio type stuff. A lot of ham radio apps run on Android that don't run on Apple. So I want to explore that stuff, just to tinker with. And then the phone had a big power bank and extra memory. And I thought that would be a good backpacking item to have. I can do off-grid land nav with it, store a bunch of maps and manuals and everything else, and have a little power supply. Makes perfect sense. Well, that sat on the shelf for a long time. Now I started using it a bit more. And I started using some offline mapping softwares, particular ATAC. I'm really enjoying that. And that's a rabbit hole in itself as far as privacy goes. But with that, I decided to get a small 8-inch Android tablet for the same things as that little ruggedized Android phone. Offline mapping software, ham radio stuff, mostly a logging app. My goal is just to keep that thing in my vehicle pretty much all times for that kind of stuff. And I went with a very inexpensive refurbished tablet off of Amazon. I thought it was, and I still think it was a good deal. It is a refurbished Samsung something or whatever 8-inch, $110, and for what I needed it to do, works awesome. But then came the annoyance part, and hey, I'm only 6 minutes in. That took a lot less time than I thought. What started off as the annoyance is you open the thing up and there's just tons of bloatware on it, right? Like I said, I'm not going to use that as my daily driver. I'm not going to use it for email or watching YouTube or doing anything other than pulling up an offline map when I'm out camping or hiking and playing a little portable radio. So I just started deleting all the apps that came on, and I have no problem with those apps being preloaded because 99% of the people are going to use 80% of those apps anyway, so it's a convenience factor. But what annoyed me is I got to some apps that I definitely didn't want, would never use, and I couldn't uninstall them. Some of them I couldn't even remove from the screen. Whatever, just make a little folder, dump them all in that, put it on the second page of the screen, move on with your life. But it just annoys me that there's stuff there. To me, that's just sloppy and lazy and greedy on the developer's side of things. Google and Samsung and others, we're talking about you. It's like years ago, Apple and Google with Android, they're making stuff that was innovative, that was original, that people were willing to pay 99 cents to buy the app, or $4.99 or whatever. And then they just got lazy, whereas here's some half-assed stuff that nobody ever wanted, but we're making you have it when we do an update. Annoying to say the least, right? But a little disturbing if you think from again, a little bit of tinfoil hat, but if you have no choice on what the operating system, the owners of the operating system of your phone put on your phone, you probably have no control of what they will take out if they want, or eventually can, if they get pressured by government agencies and so forth. I don't think that's too much of a leap. Yes, it's kind of tinfoil, but there's a little bit to that. So that's kind of the title of this thing is, in reality, I don't own this device that has all my personal information in that I use daily, that's telling the world if they want to look into exactly where I am on this planet. Apple does. They'll brick this when they want to. We already know they have planned obsolescence in their devices where at a certain point they literally dial back the battery and all that other stuff. So we really are at a point where we don't really own anything. We just pay a lot of money to use it. It's kind of aggravating. So back to the portable radio and adjacent topics. The Android devices I got, besides that, I'm really enjoying them. I like that you can sideload apps into it. For now, as I did the University of YouTube to see what I can do to de-Google my Google. There's some weird stuff that's coming down. ID verification, not just age verification. They want to verify who's using the device. I already own the device, or so I thought. Yeah, I just don't like where that's going. It's always done under the guise of convenience and security, and doesn't anybody think about the children, right? We want to make sure that kids aren't exposed to the bad things on the internet. Well, too late. Why don't you go after the bad things on the internet and not people like me who just want to have a nice, refurbished, used, unlocked device where I can load a couple of nerdy ham radio apps on and play around in the woods with it. I don't know. So now I'm going down to the rabbit holes. I'm looking at alternatives. I might give up my iPhone. I'll still keep it for recording videos and stuff like this, but I'm not going to carry it with me daily anymore. I don't know if I go with just a dumb phone, or the hot new mess, was it graphene, where you can basically jailbreak a Pixel phone and you're supposed to have more privacy and security, but a lot of that is just, trust me, bro, this is better. Is it? It might be. It might very well be. For now, until they get bought out by somebody who throws a bunch of money at them. Maybe I should go back to 20-year-old Scout and not have a cell phone at all. But like many of us, I'm addicted to the technology. I'm addicted to the convenience. And for some reason, my privacy is not a factor anymore. It's, the boiling frogs, right? How to boil a live frog. You just increase the temperature a little bit by a time and they won't even notice. So I'm still going to play around with these. I think I already said that. I'm still going to play around with these Google phones and just put up with it. They're going to be offline most of the time. I'm thinking about even just keeping them offline at home. I'm looking at building my own little Wi-Fi network that's air-gapped from the internet. Obviously, I have my home computer and the ham radio, the ham top that's connected to the internet because I'm using it as an iGate and all that other stuff. But I do have another laptop and some Raspberry Pis. Maybe I'll look into making my own personal server, get a travel router for Wi-Fi, and have a completely air-gapped network for myself, and just go with that. I don't know. It's a weird world we're living in, where it's just weird. All right, so hey, that wasn't even 15 minutes. So if you stuck through this, thanks. Stay safe out there.